Okay, so we have a much longer integral today, so let's just get right into it. It's the integral of 0 to 1 of x minus 3 to the x squared dx. So what we're first going to want to do, we're just going to want to just expand this. So x squared minus 2x times 3 to the x plus 3 to the x squared dx. And next what we'll do is we'll actually split this up into 3 different integrals, so it's a lot more workable. And while I can put the bounds on there right now, I'm actually just going to remove all the bounds. So I will find the antiderivatives first, and then I will reapply the bounds later, just to make it more clean and less messy, whatever. So this first one's not that bad, it's x cubed, so that will just, or x squared will become x cubed over 3. I'll box that so we can deal with it later. This one is a bit more complicated, but it's not that bad, it's just basic integration by parts. So we'll derive x and we'll integrate 3 to the x. Deriving x we get 1, integrating 3 to the x we get 3 to the x over natural log 3. So we'll bring down this minus 2 that's out front. Our first part of our answer is going to be this, so that will be x times 3 to the x over ln 3. And then we'll have to subtract this part as an integral. And so that will be minus the integral of 3 to the x over ln 3. But that over ln 3 is a constant, so we can just pull it out of the integral. So the integral will actually just be 3 to the x. However, we also know that that 3 to the x, that was part of our integration by parts. So we could just do that really fast. So that'll be 3 to the x over ln 3. But because of that over ln 3 we have as a constant out front, that ln 3 will become an ln 3 squared. That's the second part of our answer. Lastly, we have this 3 to the x squared. We did by exponent rules, power to a power, that will just be multiply the powers, so they'll become 3 to the 2x. And if we know 3 squared is just 9, so we can rewrite that as 9 to the x dx. And just integrate that the same way we integrated 3 to the x. We'll get 9 to the x over ln 9. And we could leave it at that, but I am going to change something a little bit just to make it easier later. So let's just write this as a note down here. We know that ln 9 is the same as ln 3 squared. And ln 3 squared is the same as 2 ln 3. So we will write this down there like that. So 9 over 2 ln 3. And that will be the third part, the third antiderivative. So now we can just move this over here and actually write it all together. So we'll get x cubed over 3 minus 2 times x 3 to the x over ln 3 minus 3 to the x over ln 3 squared plus 9 to the x over 2 ln 3. That will all be evaluated from 0 to 1. So we plug in 1, that will be 1 over 3 minus, let's distribute this negative 2 while we're actually evaluating. So this would end up just being 3 over ln 3, but if we distribute this negative 2, that will be negative 6 over ln 3. We plug in a 1 here, that will be 3 to the 1, which is 3. So this will be a minus 3 over ln 3 squared. Distributing the negative 2, that will be plus 6 over ln 3 squared. And then this 9 to the x, 9 to the 1 is just 9, so it will be plus 9 over 2 ln 3. Now we subtract, evaluating it at 0. So if we plug in 0 to this term, that x cubed over 3, that's just going to be 0. We plug in 0 to this first term, that's not going to, that 0 right there is just going to cancel that whole thing. And then plug in 0 to here, that will be 3 to the 0, which is 1. If we distribute this negative 2 into here, negative 2 times negative 1, because of this negative out here already, that's just going to be a positive 2. So plus 2 over ln 3 squared. Then lastly we have plugging in here, so 9 to the 0 is just going to be 1. So that will be plus 1 over 2 ln 3. I'm just going to erase these parentheses and actually distribute the negative sign. So both those pluses become a minus, and let's just get rid of that 0 because we don't need it anymore, it's just a 0. So now evaluating all this one last time, that one, we'll just evaluate it by the denominators. 1/3 is the only one with a denominator of 3, so write it like that. We focus on the ln 3 terms. So 9 over 2 minus 1 over 2 is 4 over 2, or is 8 over 2, which is 4. And then we have 4 plus negative 6, that will be minus 2. And that denominator was ln 3. Now we'll focus on the ln 3 squareds, which are these. 6 minus 2 is just 4, so plus 4 over 2, or not 4 over 2. 4 over ln 3 squared. And it's a definite integral, so no plus c, and that is it.